Hello everybody, this is Greg again. I'm going to be doing a series of C-sharp basic programming application uh, tutorials. I'm basically going to go over object orientation at its core. This is definitely a basics tutorial. I just want to get that out of the way because I know I've gotten some complaints in the past to people that don't know that this is a beginner's tutorial. And this is going to be a set of beginner's tutorials for C-sharp and object orientation. What I really want to focus on is showing people how to make a class, how that correlates to being an object, and what you can do with it and why we do it this way. So the first thing I have here is I made a WPF app. You'll notice that there's a XAML file and a CS file. If people need to know a little bit more about WPF, please let me know. This is not going to be a WPF course or tutorial, so let me know and I'll be happy to make a little tutorial on beginner's WPF stuff. What I'm going to give to you at this point right now in the next few tutorials is going to be interchangeable with any .NET programming that's within C Sharp, so Silverlight, MVC in the background of MVC, ASP.NET in the class structures, Windows Forms, and obviously I'm doing this in WPF, so WPF2. That's a very nice thing about .NET is once you learn one of the languages, you really can do it throughout the other languages or the other frameworks. Or actually, I'm sorry, .NET is a framework. Through the other different application types, I guess would be a good way of putting it. So anyway, without jabbering on, because there's going to be a lot of tutorials, I'm going to start with a public class called employee. The way I created this employee class over to the right here is I just right-clicked on the project and did new class, and then just created the class. We'll be making another one, another tutorial, so if you missed this, that's pretty much all there is, but I'll be doing other ones as well. So the first thing I wanted to show you was what they call public properties. There is a code snippet, they call them snippets, where Visual Studio allows you to, with a few letters, type a few letters and then tab, kind of like you would in Linux or Unix if anybody's used to that, to being able to tab to finish something. It will allow you to type prop and then hit tab twice, and it will give you a public property shell. Okay, so now what we have here is a public property. I'm going to make it a string instead of an int, and I'm going to call it first name. Okay, now these are what this is called a getter and setter. Anybody in the Java world is not used to seeing this because you actually make a getter routine and a set routine, as opposed to just making this getter and setter one-liner. What this allows you to do is set it so that you can set the actual value outside of this class, and you can get the value outside of this class. If I were to just have the set, or get rid of the set, you would notice, and we'll see in other tutorials, that if you try to set it from outside of the class, it'll tell you that it's read-only. So that's a nice little tidbit. So I'm just going to make a few properties here, and don't worry, a lot of things will become clear on the way in other tutorials. Public last name, and I'm just going to make one more here, prop tab string, and we will call this a title. Okay, so this will be somebody's first name, last name, and title. It will be an object of type employee, and it will have the properties of first name, last name, and title. And I'm going to reiterate that a few times because I want people to start getting the naming conventions, because one thing I found when I was first learning is if you don't use the right naming conventions, when you're Googling stuff, people are going to be using terms you don't understand. Or you don't know, or you know it as something else in your head because you didn't know it the way most people call it. So in any event, I made this public, so I'm able to call it within this structure. Alright, in the main window, just like if you're used to any console app or Windows app, the main window and right after initialize component is where the GUI side starts, okay, and loads the whole application. So what we're going to do here is just do employee, okay, and we'll do lowercase employee equals new employee. Okay, and this is what's known as instantiation. And now what you can do here is now I've got employee. You'll notice I have the normal get type and all that stuff, but along with that junk, I also have a last name, title, and first name. So what I can do is first name equals Greg. Employee dot last name is equal to the great. And employee dot title is equal to software engineer. Alright, perfect. Alright, and now what I'm going to do, just as a nice little debugging technique I like to do, is a message box.show, which is kind of like a console.writeline if you're used to console apps. And what I'm going to do here is just do employee dot, and let's just do first name. Okay, and what we'll do is we'll concatenate this, make it a little prettier here. First name. Okay, and then we will even do this and do /n to make a new line, and do last name. If my keyboard would cooperate here, and then there, and employee dot last name. Okay, and now if we were to do the debug action here, see first name equals Greg and last name equals the great. Okay, so that's the basics of how a class structure works and how an object works, and then how you can reference it. I'm going to be going over these in more detail throughout, and I'm going to kind of add to this. This is part one, so this is the basics of the basics. I just don't want the video to be too long. So I hope you enjoyed, and please, if you enjoyed, click on my links and feel free to look at the other ones. Thank you, and have a great day.